Okay, so hey everyone, this is Jamie Broderick with Network Now and White Glove Publicity. If you'd like to share this with your Twitter followers, all you have to do is click that little blue bird. It says tell a little bird and it will get tweeted out. Yeah, you have to point in the opposite way. It's a mirror image. So
it's like teaching fitness.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm going to tweet it. There we go. So thanks, Cindy, for sharing that. And these little props down here, the hands, that's a way to give, like on Periscope when you give hearts, those are high fives or props. And it's just, exactly. So there you go. So today I am with Jen Groover and Petra Kolber, who are two amazing global entrepreneurs that I've known for a while. And they've been super supportive of me and Network Now. And they will both be part of our Future is Bright conference on October 16th in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Because, you know, I can't memorize either of your bios. They're too long.
Jen, you go first. You're the queen.
My name is Jen. And are you guys getting feedback, by the way?
I'm not.
Okay, good. Because I am.
Sounds perfect from here.
Okay. So I'm Jen Groover. I am a serial entrepreneur, motivational speaker, author, advocate, UN ambassador, and for the Global Accelerator, which is basically all about entrepreneurship and furthering innovation in our entire society. And I am obsessed with human potential, and I have 11-year-old twin daughters. So I never have the same day twice ever. And I'm obsessed with constantly seeing people grow, evolve, find their happiness, and live to their potential.
Hear, hear. How about you, Petra?
Well, I'm Petra Kolber. I'm a happiness expert, a movement motivator, and a speaker with a background of fitness for 30 years. And I've combined that now with positive psychology to create Moving to Happiness. And just like Jen, I'm a huge believer in supporting everybody on this planet to live a happier and more flourishing life, but especially women, and constantly trying to create new ways, find new research to support us in this crazy journey called life, and see how we can thrive in the good times and learn how to also thrive in the not so good times through the psychology of positive psychology.
Right. When I created the event for October, it is partially an anniversary celebration for Network Now's 8 years together as a network, but it's also a conference, a motivational conference for women. And I entitled it The Future is Bright. And then as I was thinking about, okay, what am I putting into this conference other than I knew I was going to have Lynn Doyle said she would be involved no matter what the heck it was that I was creating. But when I came up with the name, The Future is Bright, I just thought of Petra right away. It just fit her so perfectly. So I asked her if she'd be a part of it, and she said, I'll be your keynote. So I was floored. I'm so grateful that you were participating. It's awesome, Petra.
Thank you for the invitation. And then Jen, I'm like, she's been one of the biggest advocates that I know for me personally. And to be a part on the platform with Jen and yourself and these other incredible women is just a great way to move into fall.
Absolutely. Yeah, Jen, you have been working with Network Now for a long time, and I hope we've given you as much value as you've given us, because it's been amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, every woman I meet that's part of Network Now is just amazing and authentic and passionate and truly inspired to live life to their fullest capacity, and they're generous and caring. And I always have the best time ever when I'm with you, Jamie, or the Network Now crew.
Yes, I think we're attracting the right people, that's for sure.
Right? Like-minded people.
Absolutely. So Jen will be on a women in leadership panel. She's got it easy this time. She's usually a keynote speaker. Lynn Doyle will be moderating, and Jen will be on the panel with Gina Rubel, who you know well, right, Jen?
I love.
Yes. and Janet Mintzer, who's the CEO and president of Pearl S. Buck International, which I believe has a budget of about $3 million a year for a nonprofit. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So Jen, why did you want to be a part of the event and talk about women in leadership?
Because you asked me, Jamie.
Well,
and you know I always do everything you ask me to do.
That's true. It is true.
But because I have watched you grow Network Now from the moment it was an idea, and I just really feel fulfilled in that environment with all of your members, and you authentically give as much as you possibly can give constantly to all of your members, and I love watching that. And you know, when you develop relationships in business and someone asks you to do something, you do it because you want them to be successful, and you want to support your friends, and you want to support women in business who are dedicated and committed to doing the right thing.
Yeah, I'm flashing back to the 3rd anniversary when you gave that incredible speech on Michael Port's deck about women supporting women. And if you
There's
want
crickets in the background.
Yes, there were crickets, real crickets. You know, and if you want to succeed at something, you should help somebody else succeed at it first. It was a great speech. It's on YouTube, you guys. If you want to just search Jen Groover Network Now Anniversary Party, you can find her speech. So Petra, why did you want to be a part of it?
Same reason as Jen. No, well, because again, you asked me and it was a privilege. And I think, like Jen said, it's one thing to have these great ideas about how we want to show up in life. It's another to have the constant support and intention and drive and hope and faith to put those ideas into action day after day through all life's challenges, through the good times and the not so good times. And we can only do that as a community. We can change, we can do great things as one person, but we can do incredible things when we come together. And I think in this area, we often feel, I don't know if it's women especially, there's a sense of scarcity. And Jen and yourself never, ever move from a place of scarcity or lack of. And I think this community and what you're doing in the celebration is all about that. Just recently, Jen reached out her hand to me, and we've known each other. We've met in passing and Facebook friends, and yourself too. And when things get tough, it was people like Jen that stepped in and gave me the tools and support that I couldn't give to myself during that time to keep going with my belief of how I want to show up in the world. And so I believe this day is going to be all about that, how to support each other in the great times and how to support each other and celebrate each other in the not so great times. And as a community, do amazing things.
Yeah, I'm going to want to capture the energy of the day in a bottle. Take it with me. It's going to be amazing. So October 16th in Percy. It's called The Future is Bright. It's at Pearl S. Buck International. There's only about 17 seats left. Just go to networknowconnections.com and click on the events calendar and you can join us. So Petra, moving to happiness, tell me about your mission.
Well, my mission is just that. It's interesting. I was listening to an amazing educator out of Australia recently. He goes, what is your word? And for a long time, I've been in the fitness industry for, like Jen knows, like way too many years, like pre-VHS tapes.
I know.
Dusting off the dust. But I never had a word. It was always fitness for fitness' sake. And what I realize now, my word is happiness, but more than that, it's radical happiness. And what does that mean? It means moving your mind to shift over to the positive, even when things are not so great. It means moving your thoughts so they tap back over to the ones that are going to serve you and your community well. And it means moving your body. You cannot be your best self, your most flourishing self, your most creative self, your best entrepreneurial self if you do not move your mind, body, and breath. And so what that is a combination of my 30 or so years expertise in the fitness world and my recent studies from the incredible world of positive psychology and combining them both together to create tools and techniques and strategies and just conversation around how do we lead a flourishing life where we can inspire others to be the best that they can be. But more often, and sometimes harder, is to show up in our best selves. Because I say to live and teach the change, you have to. It's easy to say, I want to be the change, but to be the change, you have to live it. And that's the tricky bit. How do we really show up, this overword used authentically, but radically authentically, to enable others to see their light? And like that saying is, there's two ways to shine the light. One is to be a mirror to other people's light. And that's part of, I've had an amazing career for, I'd say I had a job to start when I was opening up gyms at like 3 a.m. in New York City. Then I had an amazing career with Reebok, but this is my calling. This is what I believe is my life's work. And it's such a privilege to have found this in my second half of life. I've got this whole new passion and purpose and meaning to why I get up every day.
So many people want happiness. They're always on a quest for happiness. They're thinking it's an end goal rather than a mindset and something you can have every day.
Yeah, and I think there's an illusion and a misunderstanding. I compare this to fitness, that people think happiness is like steady state cardio. I wish it was. It's interval training for life. So everyone, and I always say, don't compare your happiness to mine, especially these days. You want to raise the bar to me, because it's easy to be happy and teach happiness when you're happy. But this work comes in such, it's your tool set to how do I get up when life's kind of basically brought me to my knees, or when I've been knocked to the curb, or life has not gone the way I've planned. This is when you have to show up. It's just like interval training. And it teaches you to enjoy the good moments without waiting for that shoe to drop. And also to recognize that the not so good moments are not going to be there forever. And unfortunately, but so true, that's where the learning and the good stuff actually happens. When the ship hits the fan,
On the other side of the pain. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. The comment about waiting for the shoe to drop, you're never really truly enjoying something if you're waiting for something bad to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So your comment about, the light out of the darkness, tell me your quote again, Jen. I love that quote. You ended the keynote last week with it.
Never allow someone to dim your light because they're unaware of their own darkness. Instead, shine your light so bright that you can only illuminate theirs.
Good. Yeah, that's excellent. So speaking of walking the walk, Jen is definitely a good role model for somebody that walks the walk. Maybe you could share with the audience here some of the ways that you've even empowered your daughters. So what you're teaching us as adult women, you're each teaching your 11-year-old daughters. Yeah. I love the story about the bully on the playground. That was excellent. But.
Thank you. Children are born into this world so much more emotionally intelligent than adults act after all the knowledge and experience that they gain in their life. And my mission is so much in alignment with what Petra's doing in teaching emotional intelligence as a leader in this world. I believe if we have a more emotionally intelligent world, we will have less obesity, less bullying, less divorce, less sadness, depression, addiction, literally everything negative. And we would increase health and wellness, happiness, success, innovation, finances, literally world peace. Imagine if we had an emotionally intelligent society, if everybody was kind, compassionate, and empathetic, if everybody understood that being a leader isn't about taking power over somebody else, it's about empowering everybody else. Very different mindset. And I really believe we're at a tipping point right now in our society where leaders, especially women, are stepping into power saying, why are we doing this the way we keep doing it when it's not working? Demeaning people and belittling people and putting them down doesn't get the most out of people. Getting the most out of people is about finding their spark, finding their authentic power, and helping them harness it. But the only way to do that is to do it for ourselves. As Petra was saying about happiness, it's really easy to teach happiness when you're happy. But when you're going through something, turmoil, it's harder to teach it, but it's the time that we learn the most as the teacher. This last 2 weeks of my life, there's been a lot of turmoil type of experiences. And as much as I don't want those experiences, I know that they're the ones teaching me something the most, that I can turn around and empower people more and say, I get it. I feel you. I've been there. I've gone through it. And the more I teach emotional intelligence, and therefore the more I learn, I realize how critical it is, because we're always going to go through stuff. We're always going to have pain. We're always going to have obstacles. But the more we learn these tools, the faster we can process through the experience and get over it to continue to grow from it and not be a victim to it, but actually be empowered from the experience. I teach my daughters everything that I teach adults because they get it. First of all, they just get it so much faster. All kids just get it faster. I think we undermine the intelligence and the ability of children in our society. I hear parents speak in front of their children as if their children don't have ears and a way of digesting and absorbing what's happening because they're 1 or 2 or 3. My children now will say to me, Mommy, remember when such and such happened? They weren't able to speak when such and such happened. And I find it so profound. They're telling me something that they remember before they could speak. How many parents ignore the fact that their kids are actually getting what's happening, fully getting it, even though they can't speak? And so I know it's easier to teach children to be empowered and live these emotionally intelligent lives and hopefully continue that pattern in their life than have to wake up in their 20s, 30s, and 40s and unwind all of the negative beliefs that were impression upon them in their lifetime. And I want my children and their friends and any child I can empower to break these belief systems around being mean to other kids to get power or needing to fit in because they recognize their uniqueness is their power. And so when I teach my children and they can regurgitate it and play back to me, I then can turn to my audience of women and say, hey, ladies, if you're teaching your kids not to bully and be mean, but you're talking and gossiping about other women in your home, you are now doing what you've taught not to do, and they're going to follow what you do more than what you say.
Right.
We wouldn't have children bullying children if parents weren't acting in a bad behavior. It's our job as adults, as women, as leaders in our communities to stand up and say, hey, this behavior is no longer acceptable in the business, in the workplace, in the school, in the community, and certainly not in our homes. My vision, my dream is to see a highly emotionally intelligent society that when my children are adults, they're not talking about how do we unwind the pain and damage from all this bullying. They're saying, how do we continue to evolve human evolution at a level we've never seen it yet, so we can accomplish more than we've ever accomplished before.
Mm-hmm. That's perfect lead into leadership, because being a role model and empowering others to succeed is what leadership is all about.
Yeah.
It's not about,
power over,
exactly, and forcing people to do things. It's about empowering them and giving them the tools and resources and supporting them. That's leadership. So
the tools aren't taught in school, unfortunately, and that's the biggest problem. Because if we're not being taught in our home and we're not taught in the school, where are we learning these things? And it wasn't until I went to college and was studying psychology that I realized so many of the ways that I was being taught from my parents or any leader around me was against what the psychological opportunities were to really thrive. And so until we speak out about it consistently and say, hey, yelling at people doesn't get the most out of people, we're going to keep yelling because they don't have any other tools in their toolbox. In my TED Talk, I talk about this because I feel that women have the greatest advantage in this next stage of innovation in our society is cultural innovation, and women can pioneer this change in leadership.
Cindy Poe is on, and she's suggesting that you do a parenting course. I
actually get asked to do it all the time, so it's not far off. Everybody does ask. I just had 3 people say it to me yesterday after I was speaking at an event. So it is definitely on the forefront. I think my hesitation over the past few years was waiting to see how my children got into the preteen years and to really validate that all those things that I was laying the foundation for in their young years was going to flourish the way I had hoped and anticipated. And now at 11, I can say it is definitely working. And I did it differently. And the different is definitely creating an amazing outcome that I'm really proud of. And I'm excited to share all of those things with parents.
The little test study twins.
Yes. They just thought they were living a normal life. Meanwhile, they were being case studied.
The world is watching. So Petra, do you have any tips on leadership? Not you're really speaking on happiness in general, but speaking on leadership, but as a leader in your industry, I'm sure you have a lot to share on that topic.
Well, I think what this does is, like Jen said, and I look back now, that I wish we all had mothers like Jen, would be female, we'd be presence across the board. But fortunately and unfortunately, many of us at my age or a little bit younger, our parents, they did the best they could. There was not any of this knowledge out there. So how do we as leaders do the work ourselves so we can still lift others up, even though we might not have the foundation of a parent like Jen? We always talk about the art of leadership. Mine is the heart of leadership. And just like children, kids learn by watching versus listening. And oftentimes we are there focusing on the budgets and the timelines and the project management. But what we're seeing now is the happier the workplace, the more it flourishes. The more it flourishes, the happier your bottom line is going to be. Business are more successful when they have happier employees. We often used to think that money brought, happiness. Now we're actually seeing that the happier you are, the more likable you are, the more successful you are, the more creative you are, the more you allow yourself to be vulnerable, so the more you can flourish in the workplace. And guess what? You're probably going to make some more money too. So for me, I'm not an entrepreneur. I don't know the leadership space like Jen does. But the one thing I recognize from being a leader in the fitness world is you have to lead by example, and your actions and words and thoughts all have to come into alignment. So you can show up and say one thing, but if your thoughts and your body are doing 2 conflicting things, you are never going to have success in your leadership role at your potential. One of my favorite sayings is, watch your thoughts because they become words. Watch your words because they become actions. Watch your actions because they become your character. Watch your character because that becomes your destiny. So for me, it's changing that thought process, catching that thought to look for the good in workplace. And what I'm seeing, like even from a leader, and we don't always have the luxury, like, gosh, I consider myself so blessed to be like you and Jen, that we're creating our own workspace. But what about those people that have to go to work and maybe don't have that management style of entrepreneurial and emotional intelligence? How can we then change our own mindset to prime ourselves so we can still show up, be our best selves, be a change in the workplace, even if we might not be called the boss? We can still do amazing things, one action at a time, one kind word at a time, one kind deed at a time. And, can one person change the world? Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. What's the impact that you have? Yeah. One of the things I'm most proud of is actually when I was an accounting manager. I was a finance manager at Nabisco. So, my role was to book journal entries and buy futures for foreign exchange and create software programs for the engineers who were making putting new cookie lines in the bakeries and all this money stuff. But actually what I spent most of my time on was finding the potential in my staff, teaching them new things, motivating them, cheering them on, congratulating them. So when I left Nabisco, I got a letter from one of my staff who had been doing the same entry-level job for years and years and years, like 30 years. And then I introduced her to all these other things that she could be doing and expanded her knowledge and talent. And she wrote me this letter that said, I was a shot in her tired old arm, and I saw the potential in her that she didn't even know existed. It was like, that was what it was all about for me. It's just what I continue to do now, I realize, with women who own their own businesses. But it's not the software program that I put in, or, oh, sorry guys. It's not the software program I put in, or the, getting that good rate on the foreign exchange currency. It was about impacting the people that worked for me. That's what I think about all the time.
Yeah, and you still do it with Network Now.
Yeah, exactly. That's, the people that, all these VIPs I hang out with, like you two, it's because you have the same values. You believe in women helping women and supporting each other and, positive mindset. All these things, the way we think is the same. So that's why you're in my world.
I think I like you said, VIP is value in people. And, like for entrepreneurs, we are our own bosses. So that's the tricky spot. It's like we have to be accountable to ourselves. So how do we keep our own accountability, showing up for ourselves in a positive way? And that can often be some of the hardest work that we do. We can show up for others, but how can we show up for ourselves every day so we can inspire others to be their best selves too?
More massages.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. The other day I took a walk, spent some time walking through the woods, listening to some music. It started my day that way. Actually, I did it 3 days in a row, which is like a record. I should call Guinness Book. But while I was doing this run/walk, all of a sudden my speech for the conference on October 16th just came flooding out of me. And I literally stopped running, opened my notes app and wrote it down. And I was thinking about you, Jen, because it was all about my why. Like,
that's
why
awesome.
do I do this? That whole, what happened when I was a kid that makes me want to give women a voice now and make them feel like they matter and that they can have impact in this world. It's like, it's way back, and it's thanks to you.
Well, I love that it came to you that way. Any speech that I've woken up in the middle of the night and just started writing things down, these thoughts that came over me, have been some of the best speeches with the greatest impact, because it's coming from a higher consciousness and an authentic place, and usually comes when you're walking, especially in nature, or you're sleeping, or you're doing something that you're not thinking about what you're saying or doing. And when that thought comes to you and comes over you like that, that's authentic wisdom. It's not knowledge, it's wisdom that's coming to you. And before I did my TED Talk, this part of my TED Talk, the end of my TED Talk, came to me in the middle of my sleep. And I woke up and I just started writing it down. And this girl who was part of the TED team said, I think you should omit that at the end. And I said, absolutely not. Not even a little bit. And she said, well, okay. And she was a little put off because she thought I was going to listen to her advice. And I said, if I've learned one thing in my life, it is to listen to my intuition. And this is my intuition. This was given me as a gift, and I will follow through on this. And wouldn't you know that after that TED Talk, that part was the thing that emotionally affected people the most. And I think we downplay our intuition so often, and we don't listen to that authentic guidance because it wasn't taught in a business book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Your intuition is strong. You need to definitely pay attention to it. Even, in a fright, if you're in danger, right? It's your intuition talking to you. Don't squish it down. Follow your gut. Sue saying, heck yes. Yeah, Sue Geyer, if you want to jump on, you're welcome to join us. Sue is part of the event as well.
Come on, Sue. An open seat.
Here she comes.
Here she comes. She's coming. So Petra, you had a TED Talk as well, right?
I did. Yes. And that was all. Hi, Sue. Great to see you.
I was just waiting for the invitation.
You are welcome to come anytime, my friend. So Sue is a premium member of Network Now, and she's also been a publicity client, and she also is part of our event on October 16th. She is going to be doing a transformational exercise, which is going to be extremely impactful, because everything she does results in positive change. So I'm really looking forward to what you come up with.
It's a secret, but you'll be hearing a lot of yeses and people thinking beyond and moving beyond what they thought was possible for their future. So I'm very excited. It's a small but powerful exercise that I think is going to live up to the transformation. No pressure there, Jamie, in terms of come up with a transformational exercise in 15 minutes or less.
That's great, man.
So I'm excited about that. And I can't wait to see both you, Petra, and Jen. It's been a little while for both of you, so I'm really excited to see both of you.
I know.
We're excited to see you.
We'll be doing an after party too, you know, if anyone just wants cocktails.
That, yeah.
After the conference, we're going to the Buttonwood Grill in Peddlers Village in Lahaska. And you can get face-to-face with me and Petra. I just sent an email to Jen today. She wasn't aware of this, so she hasn't RSVP'd yet on whether she can make it or not, because it would extend your day. But we would love to have you as well, Jen.
It would extend my day with a lot of good energy.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like a free add-on for premium members that are attending the conference. And then I opened it up to other attendees as well, but they just have to pay a nominal fee to be part of it, just to keep it as a perk for premiums. Thank you, Cindy. Standing ovation for bringing these amazing women together for such great message and all you do for women reaching their dreams. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm thrilled to have these women with me. So Sue, what's going on? Do you have any advice on leadership or happiness that you can share with us?
Well, I am very excited because I had a conversation today about being a business champion. And that's my real mission right now, is creating these. And Jen, Petra, you and Jen were both speaking my language, because really wanting to, I've spoken in the thriving space about that moving forward despite of or because of obstacles for a long time. And thriving is not a buzzword to me. It is so important to me. And I really started to reach out and want to create these men and women, but especially women who are advocates for thriving in business. Because it's killing me that so many business owners, women especially, start their businesses with a desire and a passion and give up on it because they get discouraged. They, get stuck. Businesses are failing, and in this country, we need women to connect with other women and advocate for other businesses so that people can not only live their passion and their desire and to be in service, but also support their families. Also to live in a way that moves more people forward. And I'm deeply moved by creating champions who will reach out and lift up other business owners. So we'll advocate for their own business and advocate for others, because life and business are so connected that if you're not an advocate for your business, how do you advocate for your life and lives of others? So I'm right there, and that's a huge part of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
Really working in the Thriving Revolution that I started and now really stepped into. So I have my own event coming up in the spring that'll be I'll be talking more about, and the Business Champion Success Summit coming very soon that Jamie is part of. And if you guys would like to come on, Jen and Petra, I would love it. It's really talk business champions, and I think this is new that we're going to do it via Blab.
Huh?
So maybe the first Blab Summit.
That's cool.
I wish they would change the name Blab, though. Is it just me? It's such a great app. I'm like, I'm going to do a Blab now. I'm just like, I'm being British. Blab's just like, wow. But I think it's such a great tool to connect,
Yeah.
Blab. I don't know. But
yeah,
I might be with you on that, Petra.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like the name, but it is taken off like wildfire because it's great.
It's a great way to connect.
People live. And it's so much easier.
They love the Blab.
Sorry, so much easier than Google Hangouts. It's quite a technical. Even though Google Hangouts wasn't that complicated, it seemed to be whenever I would invite a group of people. Some couldn't figure it out because you'd have to download the software. Some couldn't get on. Some had. So we stopped doing Google Hangouts, but this is great.
Can I share something really quick? Because you ladies would love this. I'm looking out my window, and my 9-year-old daughter with her 2 friends who are 8 and 6 decided to have an art store on my front lawn. They grew these art things, and they're raising money to cure retinal blindness, which is a big event this weekend. And we live often where not a lot of people come by. And they said, can we put, they've done stores out there constantly. And so I said, go for it. And I just saw them jumping up and down because I think they sold it.
So great. I love it.
My daughter's been selling stuff since she was 4. She's now 9, almost 10.
Starting those entrepreneurship young. Starting young.
Yes, she's now an international bestseller too. Just a little shout out there that my daughter is in a book with me that just went international bestseller. So at 9. So Jen, I've been trying to raise them like you have.
Well, it sounds like you're doing an amazing job.
I'm trying every day. Start again.
Jen, I know you're on a tight schedule, so do you have some final words about the upcoming conference or leadership that you want to share with everyone?
Well, I think everyone should go to the conference. That's to begin with. And it will be a day filled with amazing energy, with people who are desiring to share everything that they possibly can with everyone in that community, which is such an incredible type of environment to be in. I know our time is very limited and there's a million things we can be doing these days. So it is a worthwhile investment of your time to be in this community and to be in an event with the content that you're going to receive that day. And for leadership, I would just love to challenge people to start looking at leadership differently than ever seen before, where leadership is really about lifting up others, working on yourself constantly as a leader to be the best version of yourself you could be every day, to maximize your potential, to magnify the potential in others.
Fantastic. That was amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. See you all on the 16th.
Okay.
If not before.
Bye.
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 All right, ladies. So Petra, what's going on in New York these days? What's happening with the Happiness Mission? Where you have events that are coming up?
We are actually doing some around the Perfection Detox, which was more of the TEDx talk that I did. We have some workshops coming up at the JCC. Although I am doing that, if anyone knows of someone going through breast cancer or cancer survivorship, I'm doing a Moving to Happiness series with the JCC here in October for breast cancer awareness. So it's, as a cancer survivor myself, I recognize that it's a really terrifying time, both as a cancer patient and also as someone who's taking care of a cancer patient. So it's, again, tools and strategies to make the best of a not great situation. And then we're doing the Perfection Detox as we move into the holidays with New Year's resolutions and all of that. We have some events coming up around how to drop the weight of perfection off your shoulders so you can rise up to your best self. And I'll be including a bit of that in the conversations in October 16th around, reframing what failure means and that mistakes are just proof that we're trying. And if we never make mistakes, you haven't stretched your dreams large enough. So how can we redefine what failure means? And in doing that, we're going to rise even higher and help others do the same. So a lot of my month is spent getting ready for your incredible event and just getting out every day and enjoying the day and the city for what it brings and staying open to possibilities.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's much safer to try new things and risk failing when you have a supportive, positive people around you. So whoever's in your life, make sure they're there. That would be your safety net. It just makes everything easier.
And learn how to ask for help. I think the biggest thing for me has been learning that we don't have to know everything. And for many years, I was the person in the fitness space that people would come to ask for help. And I was really comfortable in that role. And part of what I'll be talking about is what I've had to learn moving into this new space of doing it on my own. I had a sense of, I had strategies that I thought were going to be there that are no longer there. So I'm having to learn all of this over on my own and learning how to ask help from people that I know very well and also from people that I admire. And you and Jen are two of the people, and learning from Sue just asking for help also is a way of empowering yourself and also empowering others and giving them the space to offer their help instead of just always receiving help. So there's much that, that's the wonderful thing about getting older, is that life is a journey, and the goal is a goal, but where the magic happens is in the process of learning and growing and thriving and having great days and not so good days. And it's all just a piece of this wonderful journey called life, and just sharing the things that have worked for me and also sharing the things that have not gone so well for me too. Hopefully give people that shortcut to the cliff notes to happiness.
Sounds good to me. Hashtag happiness. Awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Sue? What's cooking with you with happiness or leadership?
So a lot of the core values work connects with, and you talked about values, happiness, and I was able to do some of that with people over the past couple of days, and really understanding clarity. And Petra, I just love what you just said in terms of the up and downs and kind of the roller coaster. I'm talking a lot about roller coasters. I overcame a little bit of fear around roller coasters recently, and being able to go through those ups and downs and be a leader of your own life first, and then being out there and being a leader of your own life doesn't mean knowing all the answers. Definitely asking for help is that huge one. And I think that's what I've been working on too, is really reaching out. I've become very coachable over the last 3 months. I have a lot of coaches right now. So I'm very reaching out and expanding and doing things that I never thought I would do.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, being open to new knowledge and new ideas and ways of doing things.
Yeah, and in fact, right now, one of my coaches is a triathlon master endurance coach who I work with on strategy. Not a coach, from a quote traditional coach, you would think of, but is somebody that I'm working on with strategy in has a very different mind that I'm tapping into. Never ever thought that would be, and he's brilliant in terms of having me see things in a different way. Because when you're doing endurance training, when you're doing marathons and Ironmans, you think differently, you plan differently, you see things differently, and tapping into that perspective is huge for me.
Yeah, that is good to see things in a different perspective. I love it. So I don't think there's any questions. If anyone else, Patty D'Alessio, do you want to join us on camera? I'm not sure what you're doing right now. But the seat is available if you'd like. No makeup. Oh, well, yeah. Well, look at me. Come on. I'm in my house.
That's what really, I have to say, I love, and Jamie, you introduced me to Periscope, and I'm like, really? Now I have to put makeup on like every day? There's got to be there needs to be an app that you can just like flip the switch and then the makeup comes on top of your face.
Patty.
Hi, Patty. You look gorgeous, Patty.
Oh, please. I got the sun behind me. How about that? Hi, ladies. Hi, Petra, dear. How are you?
Hey, I am good. So much better for seeing that gorgeous face of yours.
Oh, it's great.
It's been too long.
What is it?
Been too long.
Yes, I know. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Can't wait.
Yes. So I'm sorry I missed the first part of the conversation.
Happy belated birthday, Patty.
You.
Yeah.
You look like fun in Boston.
Yeah. It was a really amazing conference. I'm going to be talking to Jamie about some of the key takeaways in Thursday.
Thursday, 10 o'clock. We'll be blabbing with Patty D'Alessio.
Yes. Yeah. I'm sifting through my notes. I learned a lot of good stuff.
Yeah, so we want to learn about inbound marketing and digital marketing techniques and strategies, but we also want to get some dirt on all the keynotes that were there.
You know what? I'll explain off camera, but yeah, there's some interesting stuff going on.
There were so many people and personalities. So Patty, any takeaways from, I know you didn't hear Jen Groover talking earlier, but Petra and Sue were talking a little bit about leadership and happiness.
Yeah, I think, I think moods definitely affects, for me personally, productivity. So if I'm having a a better day, a happier day, a more inspired day. I certainly get more done. So I can add that much to it. Wait, let me see if I can get some better light.
There we go. Now we can see you.
Look
at that beautiful sky.
Oh, I'm so jealous you're outside.
It's we'll see what I can swing out here. Yeah, but don't you feel that? Don't you feel that productivity and mood and caffeine levels and ups and downs and the afternoon comes? Yeah, for me that's where business and productivity and happiness maybe kind of coincide. But yeah, I'm sorry I missed the call. The timing was bad with school schedules, but I just wanted to jump in and say hi to you guys and support you if I could.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. But I tweeted it out, so your Twitter handle got sent out to the world, Patty. Why not?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess we're going to wrap this up unless anyone else has any questions or comments. Sue, you have some final words for us about the conference or about transformation or women supporting women?
Well, everyone should be there. And, if you haven't gotten that already, definitely today should have gotten you that from the inspiration from Petra and from Jen and from you, Jamie. I can't wait to hear what you were inspired through your walk. And I think the real thing that I'm also taking away is connection, reaching out and as women being that support to each other, and through collaboration and connection will raise everybody up. And that's what leaders do. And that's transformative. And I think that's what we need to do to transform the world and that we're living in right now.
Okay. Petra, final words?
Well, I think it's community that's become so online. And there's nothing that replaces face-to-face time, especially with other women. And more than that, I think it's also the gift. We recognize how important everyone's time is to take a day off to come to this event. So we promise that your time will not be wasted. I, for one, take time as one of the greatest gifts you can give to anyone. And for me right now, I just want to say thank you for everyone, and to Jamie for hosting this hour, and for Sue and Patty and Jen, and to all of you that are on right now. One of the things we can do right away when we talk about inspiring others and leadership is to be grateful. And so as we step off, I'm going to ask everybody here to send a quick gratitude text to someone that's in their life and has inspired them. Because we say having gratitude and not sharing it is like having a present and not unwrapping it. So I want to share my gratitude for Jamie for hosting me today here on Blab, and I encourage you all to send that one gratitude text to someone who inspires you in your life today and every day.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I bought a journal. It's called the 5-Minute Journal, and you start each day writing what you're grateful for. It just puts you in the right mindset for your day. And at the end of the day, you go back in the journal and you write about what could have made it better and what your wins were for the day.
It's our conversation around the dinner table. That's almost exactly how I end the day with each of my kids.
Highlights.
Yeah, what went well, and what could have made it better. Yeah, always starting with what was the best part. Absolutely, I love that 5-minute journal. Check that out.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Thanks.
I've just figured out my speaker gifts.
Fabulous. Thanks.
All right. So the conference is October 16th. It's a Friday. It's 11 to 2. It's in Percy, Pennsylvania, which is Bucks County. It's called The Future is Bright. You can find out more about it and register at networknowconnections.com/events. Just click on the events tab, and you'll go scroll down to October 16th, and you'll find the conference there. Future is Bright with Petra Kolber as keynote. Lynn Doyle moderating our panel on women in leadership. Our panelists are Jen Groover, Gina Rubel, and Janet Mintzer. And our special guest is Sue Geyer of Thrive for Success.
And we're celebrating Network Now's anniversary too. Yeah.
Yes. Happy 8th.
Happy 8th. Congratulations for bringing all that together. Yes.
Oh, that's good. Sue Moran was the first member of Network Now. She joined September 2007 and wasn't sure what she was getting into actually, but knew she could put her faith in me that I'd create something great.
And so it is.
I've lived up to that. But she's going to be kicking off the conference as an honor for being the first member. So looking forward to see what she comes up with. So. All right. What was your favorite part of today, Vincent? Huh. Okay. Thanks, Patty. Thanks, Sue.
Thank you for having me.
Petra.
See you soon. See you on the 16th. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
See you, Petra. All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'll be on Blab again tomorrow at 1 o'clock with an amazing entrepreneur. Her name is Avi Lauren Fox. She's not even 30 years old yet. And she raised $40,000 on Kickstarter to launch her business and has gotten the attention of many media outlets and also has been featured in a TED Talk. So she'll be on with me tomorrow. And on Thursday, I'll be talking with Patty D'Alessio of Reinvent Interactive about social media, digital marketing, and the Inbound conference that she was just at in Boston. So until then.